Hey, Real Workman here, and welcome to this session of Workman Wisdom. This month is all about listings. How do we create more opportunities, not only for our own business, but for our entire team? The answer is simple. You've heard it said that you have to list the last. Well, that's actually true. So why list? Before I get into why list, let me just talk about our roles as real estate agents. So first, we have a buyer's agent. Your job as a buyer's agent is simply to prospect, show homes, and negotiate contracts. The more time you spend actually looking for business, showing houses out with clients, and then putting them under contract, the more money you're going to make. So I want you to think about this. If you're not actually with clients, or you're not negotiating a deal, what should you be doing? The answer is simple. If you want to make more money, you should be prospecting. Now, as a listing agent, your job is very similar. It's to prospect, go on appointments, listing appointments, negotiate the contract. For both buyer's agents and listing agents, once they go under contract, you should then give the paperwork to the client care coordinator or your assistant to take it from contract to close. Your revenue, your income, your success is directly related to spending all of your time on these major activities. So let's get into more about why we should actually list. So why listings matter? Why listings matter? Let's do the math on this for just a second. So when you go out and you work with a buyer, you spend, 10, 20 hours with a buyer showing houses, going in, looking at properties, the whole process. When you finally get that buyer to find the home of their dreams, they make an offer, you put it under contract, you then make all of the money from one closing. However, a listing is very different. When you list one property, how much time do you spend with a listing? I'm going to say 2 to 4 hours maybe at max. So let's say it's 4 hours. Every listing you get, you should generate 1.5 buy-side closings. So when you get one listing, you not only do the one closing from the listing, but another 1.5 buy-sides, or a total of 2.5 closings. So you spend 4 hours for 2.5 closings, or 20 hours for one closing. What do you think? Where should you be spending your time? Let's break that down into real dollars. What does that mean to you in money in your pocket? Here's what it looks like. So when I break the math down, let's just say the average house sells for around $250,000, and your commission's 3% on each side of the transaction. With 20 hours working with a buyer, you're going to make $7,500. The same amount of sales price of $250,000 when you get 2.5 transactions because you listed the house and got 1.5 buy sides, you now made $18,500. So where do you want to spend your time? Do you want to spend 4 hours for $18,500, or do you want to spend 20 hours for $7,500? This shouldn't be rocket science. This is why the listers make so much money. And so when you think about where you should spend your time and effort as an individual agent or as a team leader, or as a listing partner, your focus should primarily be on dominating the market. You see, when you list, you have all the other agents out there working to sell your property. When you're a buyer's agent or you're working with a buyer, you're competing with all the other agents for that one great house in the price range of that buyer. It changes the dynamic of the business when you understand the power of being a super strong listing agent. So, what's the greatest return on your time? It's going to be listings. All right, so now the question comes up to you, how do I get more listings? What are the activities that I need to go through to get listings? And what should my business plan look like if I make that mental adjustment to be a listing agent? So let me just do this. When we do business plans, we always sit down and we figure out where we want to be financially. So let me take you through how a listing agent would think about their business plan. So let's say we have a goal of making $250,000 a year. Now, is that a realistic goal in real estate? Absolutely. Matter of fact, if you don't want to play at this level, I'm not even sure why you're in this business. $250,000 isn't even a full-time job. So if you want to make $250,000, what does that mean in math? We take the average commission of $7,500 for every listing, and we divide that. We take $250,000 divided by $7,500. It gives us 33.3 transactions a year. Let's just round it up to do 3 transactions, or 36 transactions a year. So instead of 33, we want to say 36, 3 a month. 36 transactions a year. So what are the activities then you have to do to generate 36 closings with just listings? Not talking about buyers at all. I want you to hit 100% of your income goal, that 250, by doing just listings. So what does that look like? So let's say that 75% of the appointments you go on actually turn into listings. How many listing appointments do you need every single month to get to your 250 goal? The answer is simple. In order to list 3 houses a month, we have to go on 5 appointments every month. When you go on 5 appointments a month, 75% of them close, you end up with your 36. Now think about that for a second. We're going to sell 3 listings a month or 36 a year. That's 100% of your income goal just focused on listings. So can you make 250 in real estate? The answer is absolutely. So the next thing you might want to consider is, what do I do with all the inquiries I get on all these properties? You see, because when you generate all of these listings, every listing you generate, and this is just kind of interesting, should generate between 6 to 8 buyer leads every single month. So who's going to work those leads? Either you're going to give your clients a low level of service, or you have to get somebody else to work those buyer leads. That can be done in the form of a showing assistant or a buyer's agent. I would recommend as a team leader that you hire a buyer's agent. And we'll talk more in other sessions about, what kind of ratios and how many buyer's agents you need for the number of leads that are generated. So how do you get 5 appointments every single month? So now we know the math, we understand why we want to list, we know that listing is going to generate 100% of our income goal. How do you get 5 appointments? That's the big question. Anybody have an answer for this? How do you get 5 appointments a month? The answer is really simple. I know, get ready for it. Here it is. We prospect. That's right, you thought I was going to give you an easy answer. You can't just sit around and wait for the phone to ring. You actually have to be proactive at going out and getting listings. No one's going to give you listings. You have to go and get them. I like to say we don't create any new business. All we do is take other people's. And so what are the activities that you're going to go through to make sure that you generate those 5 appointments a month? Here's a list of 10 or 11 different ways that you can generate listings. What we can work for sell by owners. You can use technology such as the Red X. That'll give you a list of all the for sell by owners in your market. They'll also give you all the expired listings. Then every day you should have a plan in place. I love for sell by owners and expired listings for a couple reasons. Number one, we know they need to sell. They put a sign out in front of the yard that says, hey, I don't trust realtors. I'm going to do it myself. Or I don't want to pay the commission. Or I've had a bad experience. Or I sold my other house in a hot market by myself, so I'm going to do it again. What for sell by owners don't realize is that 75 to 80% of for sell by owners actually end up listing with an agent. And the ones who don't end up selling for about 15% less than those who actually list. So why in the world would they want to do it themselves? It's because they don't have the information they need to choose you. So we've got to be able to communicate to those for sell by owners via phone calls, door knocking, emails, and our different methods of communication, letting them know that we're different. We're not like everybody else. Expired listings are great because their agent has failed them. Another agent's put it on the market and they've given them false expectations. They've told them that they could sell their house at a certain price in a certain time frame, and their agents failed them. Or the seller has unrealistic expectations. Oftentimes we have great agents that take listings knowing very well it's going to expire. Well, those expired listings are opportunities for you to swoop in and show them what makes you different, how you set yourself apart. We'll give you some differentiators, which I'll talk about the other blogs this month. I love marketing around listings. One other reason I love listings is because every time you get a listing, it gives you the ability to market around that listing. It's like there's a marketing engine that gets turned on when I get a listing. So I'm going to do just listed cards. I'm going to do open house cards. I'm going to work around that listing. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to knock doors and see if any of the neighbors know anyone that wants to move into that area. And if they say no, they don't, then I'll say, well, have you given a thought to moving? Because we're going to have a lot of people that are interested in this property, and they may not want that house, but they might want yours. And I'm going to look for new opportunities to generate listing appointments. Geographic farming is simply deciding a geographic area where you believe you have and want to become an expert, and then put a system in place by mailing one postcard or one letter every single month into that geographic area, getting involved in the community, becoming the local expert, and knowing everything going on in that marketplace. Geographic farming is one of the true and tried systems for generating ongoing listing business in that geographic area. The thing I love about geographic farming is once you get your numbers, every time I send out X number of postcards, I get X number of appointments. If you want to increase the number of appointments you have, just double the mailings. It's just numbers. You must track everything. Working divorce attorneys, probate attorneys, working your top 50 list, which is a topic for another blog. Going after new home builders, people that are small builders doing 5 to 15 houses a year need agents to list those properties, and they need agents with great marketing plans. Going after school programs as a school benefit where you donate some commissions back to the school in order to to fund the PTA or computers for the fifth graders. These school programs have been wildly successful around the country. Working your past clients and referrals, getting online services for listing leads, and of course, they're setting up a company relocation program. Here's just a few ways you can generate more listings. The goal now is to decide who you want to be and where you want to spend your time. I want to work less and I want to make more. The key to that is to become a crazy listing fool. I want you to be listing focused. I want you to be a listing maniac. I want you to get up every day, and I don't want you to go home until you've done all the activities that are necessary in one of your 4 pillars to literally generate 5 appointments every single month. Now, when you figure out what it takes to get 5 a month, then you're going to change the number to 10, and everything just doubles. Buckle up and get ready, because 2017 is going to be an amazing year if you just focus on your listings.